So today's lesson, we're going to look at another way of representing data or say information we collect on surveys with a graph. And today's graph is called a histogram. So histograms are very similar to bar charts. The only difference, in a bar chart we had to leave exactly the same space between all the bars, but in a histogram the bars will all touch each other. And we use histograms to display numerical data, and it can be used for the discrete, so the whole numbers, or it can be used for continuous numerical data, so that's the ones with decimals, so like the weather, temperature, or heights. Okay, so here we're going to look at how to draw a histogram. So example 1, drawing a histogram. Draw a histogram to represent the information below, showing the distance a group of students travel to school. So if you look here, it gives us the first row is the distance they travel. So is it between 0 to 2? So it could be meters or kilometers, not sure. So distance is either 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8. And then underneath that is the row tells how many students travel that. So here, 10 students travel between 0 and 2, say kilometers. 2 students travel between 6 and 8 kilometers. So what they mean, so what this frequency here means, zero to 2 means more than 0, less than 2. So if, for example, we were looking at somebody who had, if we were looking to say, okay, how many people traveled 2 kilometers to school, we would actually look here at this one, because these people have traveled 2 or more, 2 or more, but less than 4. So these people here, they're basically 0 all the way to 1.999. So I'll actually just change this a little bit. We'll say 0 or more. But less than 2. Okay, so we're going to start drawing our histogram. So on the axis, on this horizontal axis here on the bottom, so again, you're going to draw this with a ruler. So on this horizontal axis on the bottom, we put the top row, the distance. Okay, so that's going to be like our category. So for the bar chart, this would have been, say, when we did a bar chart and it was like Chelsea, Man United, we put our different categories down there. So again, we want to have equal space in between them. So I'm going to start here with 0, out to 2, out to 4, 6, 8. You're going to use your ruler or the squares in your copybook to measure these. And then I'm just going to label that, and I'm going to say distance. Okay, and then in my vertical axis, so the axis that's standing up straight, I know that I'm going to need to go to my highest number here, which is 10. I need to decide what kind of increments I'm going to go up in. So I'm going to go up in 2s. And again, it should be equally spaced out. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I need to label this one as well. And I'm going to label that same as the graph number. Okay, my graph needs a title as well. When I mentioned that salt, the last one, T in salt, is for title. So I'm just going to say it's travel to school. And that just lets people know what it is the graph is showing. Apologies now for the bad handwriting, that just says travel to school. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my bars. So the first one says the distance from 0 to 2. So looking on the horizontal axis here, I go from 0 out to 2. So going from 0 out to 2, that's going to be the width of my first bar. And I'm going to go to 10 in the height. So up to 10 and across, that's the first one. Again, you do it with a ruler and you keep it straight. Okay, so then the next bar here, so the distance is 2 to 4. So we're going to go from 2 out to 4. And the frequency or the number of times this happened, or the number of students who travel that distance, was 4. Again, with your ruler, you're drawing your bar up to 4 and across, and the bars in a histogram are touching. So the next one then is from 4 to 6. So it's 4 to 6, and we want to go up as high as 5. So somewhere in there, halfway. And the last one, 6 to 8, so just 2 students travel between 6 to 8 kilometers to get to school. Okay, and then you can color it in if you like, but it's perfect like that. So you'll see that all the bars in our histogram are the same width. That doesn't have to be the case, but here it is. But mainly that all the bars touch, and that you've labeled the two axes, so the horizontal and the vertical axis, correctly, and you've given it some type of title. So you can pause the video here, go back to the first page with the title histogram, and take down everything on that page and this example here of how to draw a histogram. Okay, so this last one here, you don't need to take this down. We're just going to work through this question together to see how we read histograms and how we answer questions based on histograms. Then when you're done, what you're going to do is with your homework copy, go to page 213 and do questions 1 and 4. Okay, so let's have a go at this question together. So the time in minutes taken by each member of a group of students to solve a problem is represented in the histogram. So we can see here on the horizontal axis, this one here tells us the time, so is it between 0 and 1 minute, 1 and 2 minutes, and then here it's the number of students or the frequency, so how often this happens. So what they're asking us to do is to fill in the table below, so to take the information off the graph and fill in the table. So I want to know how much time, or sorry, between 0 and 1, how many students did it take to solve the problem. So if you look between 0 and 1, it took 2 students that long to solve that problem, so in the first one goes 2. Now between 1 and 2 minutes, it took 3 students that long to solve that problem. Between 2 and 3, we're going all the way up to 5. Between 3 and 4, we're going to 2. And then between 4 and 5, just 1. Okay, so then how many students, part B, how many students solve the problem in less than 3 minutes? So, like we said before, this one here, 2 to 3, here. This is 2 or more minutes, but less than 3. So we need to include everyone in this part of the graph because it took all of these students less than 3 minutes to solve the problem. So we're going to add all those together. So we know then that it's 5 plus 3 plus 2. So it took 10 students less than 3 minutes to solve the problem. Okay, so I'm going to rub this out so we can do the next bit. Okay, so what percentage of students solved it in less than a minute? Okay, we need to figure out first of all how many students solved it in less than a minute. So again, we said that from 0 to 1, so this part here, this is people who took more than 0 minutes, which obviously you would take that, but less than 1 minute. So it's just this box here. So the number of students who took between 0 and 1 minute is 2. So it's 2. Then I need to know what is the total number of students who took part in this. So here we're just going to add together all the values. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 10, so 13 in total. 2 over 13. And we're going to multiply that then because we want to convert it to a percentage. So we're going to multiply that by 100 over 1 and you should get roughly 15%. So you don't have to take this bit down, just read over the question, make sure you understand the parts, and then you can start those 2 questions into your homework copy.